Well, this is weird. Welcome. Hey, we're here. It's live.
Yay!
We're a minute late. Actually, at work, I always start my 12 o'clock meetings at 12:01 to give people the opportunity to get the little notification bell, then run over to the computer and jump onto the Zoom meeting.
Yeah, the panic mode because that your computer takes that time to be slow to connect to whatever Wi-Fi that you're actually connected to.
And it was trying to futz around with the name down here so that my name would be over me and Gary's name would be over him. Now, as you look at this, I'm actually sitting on the right side of the screen, but on your screen, as I look at him, on the left side of the screen.
Yeah, it's a little backwards.
Yeah. It's like if I want to punch Gary, to me, I should go like this. Pow. Oh, wait, it works fine. Never mind.
Hey, how's everyone doing today?
Yeah, anything going on?
Yeah.
Maybe, wonder what we should talk about today. Who knows?
It's going to be a quiet weekend.
Yeah.
Next week, I can't think of anything that might be happening.
It's probably be a real quiet, calm week.
Yeah. It's kind of like that week after Christmas.
That's Boxing Day. Just kind of relax and oh God, we're here. We're on the precipice of the most important election in the history.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Country.
We started this channel at the end of May, and we were, hip deep in the primaries. At that point, Biden was still running for president, right? And it seemed like November was so far away, and we are now, 4 days away?
Yeah. If even that. Oops, that's not the way I wanted. So, for Jessica, thank you for waking up at 3 a.m. or are you just not going to bed?
Oh, yeah. Oh, my goodness.
We've got people from Iowa, from Michigan, Alberta, Ohio, where the winds go whistling down the plains.
That would be Oklahoma.
Tennessee, New Hampshire. Gosh.
Yeah, apologies to our fans that are in New Zealand and Australia.
St. Louis. Gary, I'm at Gary's house right now, as you can tell by the plethora
and
of
the well-behaved cat and the cat that is so happy.
My wife is out visiting his kids down in San Diego, and they're visiting the Dias de los Muertos displays in the San Diego area. Apparently, they put on a good show. San Francisco's Mission District one has been disappointing the last couple of years, and Michelle, without being culturally appropriating, really, really digs the Day of the Dead. So she wanted to do something with that. So I'm available to just go do what I want to do for the weekend.
Yeah, he'll be playing video games till his eyes bleed,
which I did last night. Glorious. But when I'm not doing video games and working,
we're recording videos.
For our YouTube entertainment, and then we drag you along.
Yeah,
the abyss that is our craziness here.
Yeah, my wife's going to Brazil. She leaves on Wednesday, I believe, and she'll be gone for a week. So I've got my weekend will be next weekend, where I'll be running around like a stray dog through the neighborhood, doing whatever I want to do.
Which is probably just,
I'll probably go to this Stanford movie theater that plays all of the old classic movies. They're playing The Postman Briggs twice, and I forget what it's playing with, but I'll probably be there for that.
He likes his oldie moldy movies.
I do. I'm a sucker for that stuff.
It's funny because he used to take our grandmother to those, and she's like, I saw this in the theater when it first came out.
Yeah, they were having a Fred Astaire festival, and I would take my grandmother to that. She was a real good sport about it. She did stand me up once or twice, and that tells you where your dating life is when your own grandmother stands you up for a date. I can't make it tonight. I gotta wash my hair. It's like, oh man, hey Mangle, how are you? Cheers, Mangle.
All right. Yes, for those who are asking, yes, we will be answering questions today. So feel free to type them up in the comments. If you want to do in all caps, like you're yelling. If you're going to say 12 Angry Men or Starlog 17, we won't be reading on them. Although I guess we could read if they're going to win any Oscars this year.
Yes, 12 Angry Men and Starlog 17.
They're not going to win any Oscars this year.
Not this year. They had their chance.
their day to win Oscars.
I've actually seen both of those movies.
I don't think I've seen either one. I've seen bits of 12 Angry Men because that's just basically a jury. Mm-hmm. But I don't know the premise of the case.
That was I think it was Henry Fonda. It was basically convincing the jurors
that they were wrong.
Basically. And then Stalag 17, that was the precursor for Hogan's Heroes. Hogan's Heroes was based on Stalag 17.
Kind of like how Airplane was based on
my mind's blanking. I know exactly what movie it was based on.
And not the airport ones. It was based on like 50s.
Like the Darkest Hour or something like that.
How was it that? How about Dr. Strangelove was
Hey, Sunflower Down Under, you made it!
Early in the morning for her, too. Don't you people sleep? Ozzy stay up all night drinking and fighting and carousing. Okay. Let's see. I've only seen one question so far. Let's see. Well, we got a final reading on Josh Hawley and Lucas Coons. Gary just in a robe. Look, we should get him a smoking jacket. He can have
and a cigarette on a
cigarette holder.
Yeah, cigarette holder. Yeah.
And what's the tie? The right tie that goes with the smoking jacket.
Oh, cravat?
No, there's no name for it. It was one of the Kennedys. One of the creepy Kennedy cousins was known for that. This is awful when my mind doesn't work. Ascot. I think it's the Ascot.
Oh, yes. The Alcatraz Ascot.
Yeah, thank you. Gary just typed in Ascot. And not even my brother, Gary. Just Gary.
Oh, yeah. Well, Garys know everything.
Okay. Thank you, Nancy. Thank you, Gary. There'll be 5 more Ascot comments coming in here. Yes. I don't know. What is it about the Ascot that maybe Hollywood has just vilified the Ascot? Oh, walk around with your cane and your Ascot, holding your cocktail, your cigarette holder. Just look down on people.
David is a good teacher, Sue Todd. He truly is.
Yes, I use humiliation and tactics. It works really well with him. I got to, Denise, I have your Brics question starred here.
Little Brics.
Okay. We'll just go ahead and jump in here.
Let's do some ratings.
Okay. I don't know. I think one person was asking about Brics. I don't know who that was.
Hi, Sunflower Down Under. Glad you can make it.
All right. So, let's get a few more things on here. Okay. I flagged a bunch. We'll be focusing on that. So you have to time your questions with about the time you think we're breaking and looking for new questions with your all caps. All right. So we're going to look at Brics here. For those not, I've lost my, back to this one. From Denise Fellhauer. Brics. So what is Brics? Brics is it's a currency that other countries, that Brazil, Russia, India, I think, China, and Saudi Arabia, and a few other countries.
Those are the Brics, right?
They're trying to put together their own currency to rival the dollar. And their goal is to basically replace the dollar with the Brics currency for oil trading. You've kind of made it big when you get that part of it, and it would legitimize these countries even more on an economic platform. Very few countries, if any, could beat the United States dominance using war as a tactic. So if you're going to beat the U.S., you have to attack them economically, or as Russia has done, go after the citizenry and erode democracy at its foundations. So, Brics, is it going to take off? Is it going to sink like a brick? It's aptly named, isn't it? And Putin can't even go to all the countries. I think South Africa wanted to be in Brics. And Putin, he did go to South Africa, but South Africa, I believe they're part of like Interpol. So they're supposed to arrest him when he goes on there because he's wanted for war crimes. It it kind of slows him down a bit. But let's look at the energy around Brics as a world currency replacing the dollar. Okay, so entertainment purposes only. Just do a quick 7-carder on there. All right, so foundation of the reading is the smug merchant. This is an economic ploy. They would look at the United States as being the smug merchant with all its allies backed behind them, and they want to be in that position with their allies. Crossed with the Six of Swords, it's an overseas adventure. It's a non-U.S. adventure that is going to this. In some ways, they're trying to form. Yeah, they're forming their own currency, and they're trying to bring people onto it. And what's part of their thing is I think they're trying to destabilize, which is what the rough artists were. They're trying to destabilize the U.S. currency. They've got a long way to go with it. It could also be that by trying to form their own currency, they're trying to get a seat maybe on the G7 or things along those lines. They want to sit at the big boys table, and by trying to do a currency insurrection that they can get around to getting invited. In the past, we got the Four of Wands. Hey, we have this great idea. We're going to form our own currency. Ha ha. Yes, see how you like that. Current situation is the Queen of Pentacles. Here they are with their currency. Their currency is in its infant stages. It can't survive on its own. It's going to need a lot of nurturing and mothering to help it grow. Overarching energy is the Justice card. I'm drawn to corruption almost, or even cryptocurrency. In some ways, the market will judge how things go. This could erode power on the United States, because when you have a competition, people will get a choice as to which way they want to go with it. But if you look at the countries that are supporting Brics, they're not exactly maybe the most stellar countries as far as human rights go. But you know what? The United States has nothing to look down their nose at anyone, given apparently 40% of our country wants to move us back into slavery and stuff like that. So maybe I shouldn't get all hoity-toity on my high horse. Amen. A lesson to be learned is the Queen of Wands. I'm trying to see if I'm going to call that Kamala Harris.
I'm going to call it Kamala Harris.
It could be Kamala Harris addressing it, but they have to grow it. But growing it as a baby and planning its future is difficult. This might be an alliance that it doesn't mature, because who's going to be in charge? Mm-hmm. Russia wants to be in charge. China knows it should be in charge. Yeah. I'm sure India has opinions on the matter. And then we got the Page of Wands. I don't think Brics is going away anytime soon. They're going to still try and get their messaging out with it. You've got some Wands card here. There's some action. It's fairly new. I don't think it's going to die anytime soon. It's just sort of like keep an eye on it. We'll see what happens with Brics.
Yeah, I think the reason why the Queen of Wands kind of resonated with me is because if Trump was to come into power, Elon Musk is all for Brics. So, he would start swaying Trump towards, supporting Brics. And Trump would be dumb enough to actually go along with it, I suspect.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because Trump's an idiot.
Well, and
just pay him some money. He'll do nothing.
It's his, and his kids are coming out with their own cryptocurrency, so he's probably looking at how he can enrich himself with this. And with Kamala coming into place, it's going to keep that messaging at the youthful level. It's not going to go any forward. 0 Hour is what Airplane was based on.
Okay. So will Trump's sexual act with the mic see evangelicals move away from him? Gary and I tried to find the clip you're referring to. We were unsuccessful, but we didn't look for very long. I guess the question is, where did you see it? Was it on Midas Touch? Did you? Because I can't imagine you were watching a Donald Trump rally. So likely somebody else saw it, clipped it, presented it. I'm just kind of curious where you saw it.
Yeah, but we can at least throw on it because we've got no visual reference on it. So we'll make evangelicals move away from it. Yeah, how about if I throw on that one?
You can go ahead and throw on that one.
Okay. Oh, here's a good start. Oh, if only you could see it. Oh my God, look at that card. That is the most amazing foundational
It's like
card
the
ever.
secret card. It was Ben Mysalis' video. Thank you. And the bulwark.
It's so funny watching Ben Mysalis these days. You know, he's got his new baby daughter, and boy, he looks like a parent with a new child.
I don't know what that's about.
That guy does look like he slept in a month. It's just funny because we've all been there. Okay, so foundation of the reading about will the evangelicals move away from Trump after the Mike incident? Well, we start with the Queen of Swords. It's like, you just did what you just did, and you cannot excuse that action. Cross is the Queen of Wands. It's like, okay, you know what? I don't like the messaging that you are bringing forth here. Dave is looking at the comments as they come rolling through. Underneath it is the victory card. You know, the evangelicals, you know, they are kind of, in his mind anyways, they're his path to victory. He loses the evangelicals, his path to victory is going away. And I guess maybe he felt that by doing this, it would be considered funny and it would improve his chances for victory. I don't know if the evangelicals feel the same way. I'm getting a feeling that the messaging is no. In the past, you got the Eight of Swords. You know, his behavior in the recent past has really caused a lot of the evangelicals to sort of stop and take pause. You know, they're not seeing a way out. With Project 2025, they're so close to reaching their goals, but his antics are making them stop and take pause. It's just like, where do we go from here? I like where his platform could go, but the way he's conducting himself is not very Christian, and they're not seeing how they can get away from this. Current situation is the world. Things are coming to an end. They're coming to a completion. You know, we're coming to the election itself, but I think the evangelicals are seeing their relationship ending with Trump, that he's gone a bridge too far. Overarching energy is the Ten of Wands. Yeah, it's a burden. You know, they have been forgiving and forgetting about Trump's actions for such a long time, but it's like once again the straw that broke the camel's back. His antics over the last week have just been atrocious, and I'm seeing more and more of evangelical leaders saying, "Yeah, no, we're just not doing this with him anymore." Lesson to be learned is the Knight of Wands. You know, bringing that message forward, you have to be careful with the messaging that you're bringing forward. You know, the truth is out there. We're not liking your message. We're not seeing a way away from it. This is coming to an end. It's been a big burden, and you keep bringing forth this bad message. You want to be victorious, but I think right now we're looking at other options as to who's bringing value, who's going to bring this country forward. Just my intuition. The sexual act with the microphone.
Apparently, he was imitating Felicia with it. Like he was giving it a blowjob.
Yeah, pretty much. Well, I kind of figured that.
I think I've been jerking it off too.
I kind of.
He does the way he dances with his dual giraffe jerk off move.
Yeah. Was he doing like a Kamala Harris?
I just read it. There was no pictures. There was no video that I saw.
I think it's just one more in a series of karma is showing us who he is. The sun card is out showing us who he is. And I think to the question yes, it will make some evangelicals move away from him, and he cannot afford to lose anyone. And this last week, he has been doing his level best to get everyone to move away from him. I mean, if you're voting
Flushing the toilet,
yes,
of support.
I mean, unless you voted early, you can see what you're getting here. There's no excuses for this.
It's Gary and I just did a video on metaphors.
Yes, coming out tonight.
That's going to come out tonight, and we're looking at all the meta. It's got an 8-minute long intro, so if you're not into the long intros, just go ahead and fast forward. But the reason why the intro was so long was we were talking about all the recent metaphors with Trump, like in the last week, that it's not only what he says and does, but it's look at it beyond just the visual. Like when Trump is saying that he's going to put 0.9 barrels at Liz Cheney and blow her face off, basically. Yeah. It's like, well, what is somebody's face? And what is that's your identity, and he wants to remove anybody who's mean to him or challenges his identity. So it's not just murder, but it's getting rid of people's identities. His inability to get into the garbage truck, just swatting fecklessly at the handle.
Yeah, trying to open the door.
He's like 2 feet away from it, like a cat on catnip, and just totally high on stuff. So check that one's going up tonight. Check it out. It was a really interesting read. It's we haven't really done before.
That was what I was thinking when we were doing. It's like, this is a direction or a kind of a thought or a read that we've never gone down this path before. But what struck me was last night when I was watching a clip of him basically threatening Liz Cheney. I think I was watching Glenn Kirshner as he was showing a clip of it. And it's just the graphic and gruesomeness of the messaging. It's just like, until when she's got 9 barrels pointing at her and they shoot her in the, pointing at her face and shoot her face off type of thing. I'm paraphrasing. But it's just like, oh, that's really dark. It's one thing to insinuate there'll be 9 barrels pointing at her like a firing squad, but then it's not just pointing at her, it's at her face. And it's just like, this man is really, really disturbed.
Exactly. So it's just, it's not just shooting her, it's shooting her in the face. So then you have to look at, what does that mean? And start thinking about what that means. Never been one to be much into poetry, because poetry has a lot of metaphors, and metaphors forces you to think, and heaven forbid we do that. That gets in the way of reacting things and clutching your pearls.
Okay. Oh, here we go. Final reading on Josh Hawley and Lucas Coons.
All right. Which one do you want to take? We're gonna do. So we're gonna do it day after the election. Yeah. How is Josh Hawley feeling? How is Lucas Coons feeling? And we'll do a pair of 4 partners.
Okay.
And do you want the Republican or the Democrat?
I'll take Josh Hawley. I know Cash Peters keeps reading that Hawley's going to be triumphant, but we'll see.
All right, same time, 4-parter. Here we go. I do Lucas Coons. Oh, dear me.
I've got the end of something here.
Now let's bring
we got confusion.
All right, so for me, Lucas Coons, crusading, making his point across, trying to get past the MAGA and the cult-like behavior, the propaganda, the gaslighting, calling people's attention to things, bringing an end to a cycle, and money and values. But he's trying to bring forward here to wake people up is that he's a man of his values. From his grandparents down to his kids, he has values. His opponent doesn't. His opponent was part of the insurrection. He was trying to do that. And he's just trying to get through the propaganda and the gaslighting. I've got some horrible cards for Josh Hawley. The foundation is the death card. So something is coming to an end. It could be his career. Right. It could be the end of this election. The main clarifier is the moon card, creating confusion. It could be that at the end of this election, we're not sure exactly who's on top of this. That there may be some delays in coming to the results. The clarifiers are fascinating to me. You got the King of Cups, which is kind of that emotional maturity, also the Joe Biden card, and the Queen of Swords, which is the
it's almost like a Kamala Harris card, but it's kind of a justice card. You need to be held accountable for your actions.
Bingo.
That's exactly where I was going with it. Biden getting inaugurated, and you tried to stop it. Yeah,
And that's what Lucas Coons was trying to bring up during their debate.
and you've been the smug little guy with hopes, wishes, dreams fulfilled because you're still in the Senate.
Yeah.
I'm going to put it this way: he may actually win this race in the short term. I think what these cards are saying in the long term is that he is not going to remain in the Senate.
If he gets in.
Yeah, that's what these two cards were. Is that there's an investigation going on with this guy, and once Kamala gets in and inaugurated, they're going to come after all the people, all the bad actors from January 6th, and I think he is square in the middle of their crosshairs.
My cards, it could very well be that Lucas Coons does get in. That with the polls being very off as far as things go, that he does bring an end to Josh Hawley, and it could also very well be that his the debate that they had are going to impact voters who were planning on voting on Election Day, because I think the debate happened on Friday or Thursday or Friday, so it was just a day or two ago. So people have time over the weekend to consider it. If he doesn't get in, I think he's brought a lot of people's awareness to Josh Hawley's behaviors during the January 6th insurrection. And I agree with Gary. If Josh Hawley does get in, I don't think it's going to be for very long, because his actions against Biden are going to come back and haunt him.
Yeah.
And Lucas Coons, maybe he doesn't get in this time, but if they have a special election to replace Josh Hawley's seat, and they will, if he's removed from the Senate, Lucas Coons could very well win at that point.
Yeah, it's right now. If you believe the polls, Hawley's way up on him. He's almost double digits, if I remember correctly. But once again, the polls are not necessarily accurate. I mean, it's pretty hard to overcome a 8, 9, 10% deficit. But like Dave was saying, a lot of those voters might not have voted yet, and that debate may sway them. Certainly, Trump's actions may sway them.
Right.
So we'll see.
Okay, so let's get rid of that one.
I'm gonna go rescue my bread.
Okay. You'll like this one. And thank you for pointing out to Steph V that
Here's my latest one.
I bite into it.
My Queen of Pentacles.
I bite into it, but I would get steam burns on the roof of my mouth. He said, my mom makes a lot of cookies and stuff like that, but bread was never a real success story with our parents. They would make their own pasta occasionally too, and I can't really honestly say that was a success story either. But Gary has been upping his knowledge and his equipment for his bread making, and how many loaves of bread do you make a week?
3 or 4.
3 or 4. All right. So
my son's coming home from college. They decided to pull out the 750-gram loaf.
All right. So here you go, Gary. Just for you.
What's that? Is Vance planning to make a move to get rid of Trump? I feel okay. Yes. Next question.
And that's an insult to snakes everywhere.
Yes, please.
They don't like to be associated with Cheney Vance.
Oh God. Yeah, I think that's, quite frankly, that's part of the plan.
That is the plan.
So their plan is to get Trump elected, and then
their plan is to have Trump. J.D. Vance is going to be the parasite, the leech stuck onto Donald Trump as Donald Trump carries him across the finish line.
More like the lamprey on,
exactly,
or the remora, But what's going to happen is Trump will take office. When he's no longer a useful idiot for them, they'll give him the old tally-ho, and then J.D. Vance will come forward. And that's really frightening, because as bad as Trump is, J.D. Vance is worse. Because Trump, at least, he's got his own opinions and his own vision of what he wants to do. It's horrible. But J.D. Vance, he'll go to the highest bidder. And right now, the highest bidder is Peter Thiel and the whole Project 2025 nonsense. So that's going to be really, really bad.
I want to know if you have. It's a gas cooktop. Is it a gas oven as well, or is it electric?
It's a gas oven. Yeah, gas oven.
Now, also, good Lord, the StreamYard the cameras.
The sun just came out.
The Heritage Foundation is the one that basically encouraged Trump to take J.D. Vance. I'm sure it came with a suitcase full of cash. And J.D. Vance is willing to advance Project 2025. Trump just wants to be there to get retribution on his political rivals. And they may keep him as president as long as he agrees to everything J.D. Vance tells him to do for Project 2025. And as a reward, he can go after his political enemies. But at some point, they will 25th Amendment Trump out of there because he's going to be baggage and it will prevent them from implementing the things they want to do.
Okay, so it's Vance planning to make a move. Okay, so right now, this is the Heritage Foundation.
Oh God, timing!
Yeah,
it's all about timing.
Yeah, the Heritage Foundation is they're keeping him. They're propping up Trump. They're keeping him strong.
They forced J.D. Vance down that guy's throat.
Yeah, here, open up, Trump. We got something nice for you to swallow. Underneath it is the Seven of Pentacles. Yeah, because we're going to give you lots and lots of financial support if you take our boy. Mm-hmm. And Trump's like, financial support. I like that. We're going to bring some strong messaging for you, fast, rapid messaging. This could also be the messaging on Trump's mental and physical health deterioration. The other clarifier is temperance. J.D. Vance, he balances out Trump. Because when they picked J.D. Vance, they wanted someone young.
Yeah.
Because Trump was going against Biden, and the whole conversation was about the age of the candidates. So they brought in this young guy to help balance out the ticket. Ideologically, they're not balanced out. It's just optics have been balanced out. Underneath it, Ten of Swords. Yeah, you think they're got a plan to get rid of Trump?
Oh, yeah, they do.
Yeah, Trump, don't open any windows in tall buildings with J.D. Vance around.
And the other thing I'm getting from that is it's about timing.
Yeah,
it's they're going to sit back there. They're going to evaluate. Okay, when's the time to move to get rid of them? They're going to get rid of them quickly, and they'll fire him via Twitter. And then with the temperance, it's like he wasn't well. His health was poor. This is the best thing for him. We gave him a pardon. He can go out and golf and hang out with his supermodel wife Melania and do all the things that he needs to do on there.
Is that a super sticker that just came by?
You got two of them for yourself, Gary. Well, at least one anyway. So time to do the dance.
It's the super sticker dance. So Dave and I watched another YouTube. It's about cars called Car Edge, and Ray and Zach. It's a father and son. And so whenever they do a live every day. But whenever they get a super sticker, Ray has to do a dance. So I will do my version of the super sticker dance. Let me put my cards away. Super sticker dance. Woo!
So you got one for Gene Martin for $20.
$20? Yay!
Sourdough and beer.
Thank you, Jeannie Martin.
Or it could be. Is it Jeanne?
Jeanne. I would say it's either Gene or Jeannie. So
Aaron.
Aaron. Thank you, Jeannie. Appreciate it.
Jaquel. And then Heidi Walter gave you a $3 super sticker.
I did the super sticker.
So easy to do another one.
Oh, look at that, Maria. Oh my God, Maria! I'm gonna have to stand up for you.
A $10 super sticker.
Now I'm a good chair dancer, but once you involve my feet and my torso, it all goes to hell fast. But
maybe I should put on YMCA or something like that.
Oh, you see that?
Good Lord.
I noticed you're not doing a super sticker dance.
I'm too busy operating the controls.
I think you should have a twin super sticker dance for $10, don't you?
Yeah, it would be like the Trump giraffe
strip super sticker. Oh my! You know what? 20 years ago, that might have been worth it.
Heck, for me, even 10 years ago, I could have pulled it off quite well. You wouldn't know it now.
Yeah, well,
I had a 6-pack 10 years ago.
Did you really?
I did.
I got a 6-pack in the fridge.
Yeah, I know. I had those too, but at 48, I had done it, and at 51, I had a 6-pack again. And Then I started dating Michelle, and there were other things that were more fun than going to the gym. And then you get out of that habit.
Yeah, it's hard. You really need to
make it part of your routine.
Okay, here's my glory day photo.
Okay, here we go.
Okay, I'll post this up on the community page.
Glory days.
That was me.
Oh, yeah, you were young back then.
Yeah, that was right before my wife and I started dating.
He's totally not gay. Totally not a gay man leaning against his Miata.
Yeah, I was 38 years old. I just turned 38. I was on Match.com. That was one of my profile pictures on Match. I still have the car too. I got the car and I have the wife. So I just don't have the body anymore.
To be young again. Okay.
So I know. I look back. It's like, dang, I was a pretty strapping lad. What the hell happened?
Now CD3777 clearly wants to see you do a dance.
Oh my goodness! Thank you so much, CD3777.
Let's see you doing the dance. And then Sutad, $10.
Sutad, yay! Woo!
I could just, our sisters do watch these on occasion. They're probably not watching now, but
yeah,
they would look at that and say, these guys.
But you're so weird. They say, yeah, those are the dance moves. I would love to be a great dancer. I'd love to be able to play the guitar really well too.
At least you can play it. There was a TikTok I sent. There's a group of women that I work with. They're all much younger than me, but they're direct reports. At one point, we have a group chat, and I sent them a video that I came across on TikTok, and I was sharing with Michelle, and you're doing the sprinkler. It's this one young black guy. He's probably in his mid to late 20s, might be younger. He's dressed in all like white or silver with these big silver platform shoes, and he comes into like the Halloween store or places like that, like Earth, Wind, and Fire or disco songs, and he comes in disco dancing.
Nice.
And they're filming him, and a lot of the customers are kind of like, some are filming, but every video, pretty much, there's a mom, somewhere between her 40s and 60s, that starts dancing with them.
Oh, yeah.
And every time I see that, I start laughing hysterically. And Michelle's like, why are you laughing? And he's just dancing. It's like, because they're dancing with him. They're having a dance-off, and it's spontaneous. And that's the type of thing that brings me joy.
Yes.
It's kind of like if you've ever seen a video of flash mobs. Stuff like that, I'm already tearing up. Stuff like that makes me cry. It's a beautiful, beautiful thing to see. If you're ever in a mood and you're like depressed and down on people, just go to YouTube and type in flash mob, like musical flash mob or something like that. There was a fantastic one from several years ago. It was like a Kansas school district. A bunch of teachers are having they're getting back to school, and they're having the meeting they have like a couple days before school goes into session. And the school superintendent's out there saying, okay, remember, school starts tomorrow. It's just one day more. And then they start playing the music for Les Mis for one day more. And they had hired a group of people who sing in for opera. They're interspersed throughout the audience. And they start, a man stands up and he starts singing the Jean Valjean song. And then a woman sings up to join him because she's the female lead, and I'm forgetting her name now. Anyways, and then they've got other people, and they'll have Javert stands up, and then they have the master of the house and the missus of the house, and then the cast. And there's ends up being 25 people marching up to the stage singing the song. And it's just to a standing ovation at the end of it.
Of course.
I love it. Love it. Okay. Elon Musk. Speaking of things I don't love. Elon Musk. Is he going to face legal trouble for coming to America on a student visa? That's right. But dropping out of Stanford to start a business.
Yeah, so there's some interesting timing on that. So he did graduate for University of Pennsylvania. And then, as you mentioned, he went to Stanford for I think it was 2 days. And he dropped out and he did a startup. And he had just wild and crazy success with the startup. And what they're doing is they're going to probably take a look at his visa application, because he was on a student visa and he wasn't going to school. He was working. And so people were asking in the comments, are they going to deport him? It's like, well, they can't deport him currently because he's a U.S. citizen. But if he lied on his application and that becomes disqualifying, yeah, then they might.
Then they can undo his citizenship, in that which case. So, actually, you know what? Somebody's asking which one's Gary. I had the names up here. This is Gary.
Okay, yeah. So just really, at the end of these videos, we usually do 10 or 15 minutes of Ask Gary and David questions. So one of the commonly asked one is, Gary, who's older? Gary. And how much? 6 minutes. Where were you born? San Francisco, California.
Where the winds go, we sing down the plane. My intuition tells me that they can bend Elon over a barrel with this one, because now you've got something on him that you're going to start playing ball. But I think not going past Elon's citizenship is Elon's illegal behavior.
Yes.
That's going to trump his citizenship. But let's go ahead. For Carter, is Elon going to face legal trouble? Let's just look at his citizenship issues, and you're going to get to do another dance in just a moment.
Oh, right on. Oh dear.
Ten of Swords. This will be one of the multiple things that brings Elon Musk down. This is, again, when I suspect that they are going to take many things away from him and then deport him, and this will be this is what gives them the avenue to get rid of him and not let him back in the country, that sort of thing. In the past, you got the Six of Cups, the Hang. Oh, Jesus. And the Ace of Swords. Man, my God. Elon's about to go through some things, and he's done it to himself. This is why I was saying, oh, Jesus. He's thrown himself under the bus. The arrogance that the rules don't apply to me is absolutely his undoing. He's flown under the radar. He was a success story. He had good PR, generally speaking. But those days are gone. And now they look at his actions and his involvement. What's going to happen here is they're going to link him to plots to overthrow the government or overthrow democracy. And that's going to get him in trouble. That's going to get what would end up happening is he gets incarcerated, convicted, fined, maybe incarcerated. And when he gets out of prison, he's kicked out of the country.
Yeah, I would have thought
that's kind of how I see it. Bing, bang, boom.
Yeah, until you throw those cards, my gut feeling was, well, they'll lean on him, they'll give him a hard time, but he's very, very wealthy, and they like collecting tax money from him, so they'll probably give him a slap on the wrist and whatnot. But those were devastatingly bad cards.
Yeah, it would be one thing if he was just, he had all these government contracts and SpaceX, and they're like, yeah, you're an annoying, powerful man, but we'll put up with you. But in this case, it's like, but now we don't have to. Now we're going to take your stuff. And we don't have to.
Yeah, and to Carol Alana's point, he's got a security clearance, and he's been in contact with Putin. I mean, they got to now take this really, really seriously, because, who knows what he's been sharing with them. And he's certainly been screwing around with Starlink when the Ukrainians really needed it. So was there a $20 super sticker?
There is. Hi, Marina. Hello. How are you doing?
Hey, Marina. Woo!
And Lady Right PJ. Oh, great. My husband is watching the Monty Python parrot sketch in German.
Oh.
It's not resting, it's deceased. Yes. If you hadn't nailed it to the perch, it would be pushing up the daisies.
It's a stiff, bereft of life, and rest in peace. If you hadn't nailed it to the perch, it'd be pushing up the daisies.
Well, I guess I should offer you a replacement then.
If you ever want to get anything done in this country,
you all see you're blue in the face. Fresh out of parrots. I see. I understand.
I've got a slug.
I get the picture.
I've got a slug.
Does it?
No, not really, no.
Well, it's scarcely a replacement, then, is it?
Right.
Tell your husband he needs to go to Bolton, but not to get stuck in Ipswich.
Yes, indeed.
Okay, Antoinette's granddaughter.
Antoinette's granddaughter.
Antoinette's granddaughter is very generous. Thank you for the super sticker from one twin, the younger one, to another.
Yay!
Oh God, where are we?
For $20, we should.
Yeah, there's more.
You do the sprinkles.
This is why I don't dance. Okay, so we get rid of the Elon comment here.
Sourdough and beer, of course. I like sourdough and beer. I gotta get another beer. This live stream is gonna get really interesting if I have another one of those. It's a 6% alcohol by volume. That's a little.
That's a strong beer.
That's a pretty healthy beer. Thank you, Marina.
Yeah, we'll have to post that. Hi there, guys. Wolf just released a snippet of audio we had with Epstein about Trump. He had like 100 hours of audio recordings for those. Michael Wolf, the author, had interviewed Jeffrey Epstein with regards to Trump, and he had hundreds of hours of audio of Epstein talking about Trump. Mm-hmm. They have incriminating evidence. Why aren't they releasing it? Apparently, they had allegedly, they had pictures of girls, not really young. They say young women. That's usually code for under 18-year-old
girls,
topless, sitting on his lap. Mm-hmm. And I guess they're pointing at him because he had a stain in a telltale area in his pants.
Oh my!
This is right around the time that he was divorced from Marla Maples and was starting to date Melania. It was in that time frame.
God.
So, let's see. Why aren't they releasing it all? No, and Bill Barr, did Bill Barr squelch it? Did he hide it? What's happening with all that?
Well, I'm getting some of the same cards here.
Okay, so what's going on? Why haven't they released that information?
Okay. Oh my. Oh, dear God in heaven.
This is by the way, just looking at these cards, this is damning information that they've got there. They're sitting on a powder keg.
Okay, so foundation of this little 4-carder, we call it's really a 5-carder. Strength. Wow, I'm not exactly sure how to interpret that. They've got a strong case. There's a lot of information in these recordings.
There's a lot of leverage that you get from this.
Yeah.
And underneath the energy is, and what do you do with it? Because you can make people's lives miserable.
This is a super duper nightmare scenario.
Yeah, and also you're going to do what I tell you to. You're going to swallow this bitter pill, or else I'm going to make your life miserable.
Yeah. So why haven't they released it? There might be some agreements underneath this. I suspect that they will release all of this. They're just not going to do it now. They're just going to release a little bit now to kind of tease. But there's some agreements that are happening behind the scenes.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, what you're going to see is this is Trump's tower moment. This may be the thing, what the cards are reading. This is the thing that basically topples down the tower for Trump. That the evidence is so damning, it's gonna end this nonsense.
Post election,
and we are going to be the happy family once again.
To me, also, this reading looks like this is Epstein. Hey, I've got something on you. We're gonna agree that I've got stuff on you. You can live a happy life, and we're all going to get along together as long as you do what I tell you to. Or I can bring you down.
Yep.
This is about being blackmailed.
Yep.
This is all about being blackmailed.
So why haven't they released it yet? I think that there's probably some. I don't know, but there's something going on. There's some negotiations. They may be trying to vet it out enough to make sure that it's legit and they have a leg to stand on, so that when the inevitable lawsuits happen, that they're not sued to kingdom come.
And the other thing that you've got going on with this is that you're talking very wealthy, powerful people. Some are going to be allies, some are not. And how do you decide who's going to get exposed? I imagine that if there was anything in those pictures that would have implicated, say, William Barr or his family, those got removed and torn up and burned, and nothing to see here. Those pages in the diary don't exist. It's about covering your butt.
Do we get another super sticker? Oh my goodness.
Thank you, Caroline.
I gotta call my wife in here and start dancing around the kitchen. Yay! Thank you, Carolina. Woo!
And then we've got foreign currency super stickers.
Oh,
that's also about $10, I believe.
No, it says 59. I'm gonna believe 59. I'm gonna. Is that North Korea?
No, it's
that's
not.
Kroners, huh?
Yes, Kroners.
Yay! Thank you, Mila Nord. Kroners.
We'll have to go to. I think we have to plan a trip to Denmark so we can.
Yes, that's fine. I'm good with that. Yeah, we're talking about, my wife and I are talking about trips that we're taking. We're going to go visit her sister in London in the beginning of December, but we will probably go to the Oktoberfest in September next year. So I'm in training.
Okay, let's see what we got here.
Any more questions?
There was one in here. Can you look at the race for senator in Nebraska?
Well, someone gave us a donation with a question. I think we should. Yeah.
Did I miss it?
I saw there was one with a donation question.
Oh, this one for the younger one. Oh, here we go.
Yeah, there we go. Show that one. Thank you, Eleanor Witterly.
I'm going to a four-carter on Nebraska for the Independent. I'm just going to read on the Independent real quick. How's the Independent going to do in Nebraska? How are they feeling a week after the election?
Man, I'm rooting for him.
Okay, we got the Emperor, Nine of Cups. I
like the underneath card.
Yeah, I like the underneath card here too. There might be a delay in getting the votes counted. This is a real interesting one.
I know where this is going.
You want me to help you? This card is the one that's throwing me off.
No, I think I know what that is. She's going to challenge the results.
Is this a man versus a woman?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know who the candidates are.
Yeah, she's the incumbent. It's Nebraska, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So she's the incumbent. He's an independent challenger. He's actually doing really, really well. And I think what that is she's going to challenge the results.
Yeah, I think that would make sense. It's like he knows he's won. He's sitting good. He's got to go, but he can't accept it yet because there's a challenge. There's some mystery. Some things are undecided that's coming up on it.
Is Trump going to be charged with criminal threat violence towards Liz Cheney? I know they're looking at it. That was the Glenn Kirshner video I was watching last night, and my first thought was, I just can't see it because, once again, it's just Trump being Trump, quote unquote. But then Glenn Kirshner started down his path. You probably didn't see that video, did you?
No, I didn't.
You were playing video games, so your eyes were bleeding.
1 a.m, baby. It was fun.
And what Glenn Kirshner was saying was,
I was in the Underdark.
Were you?
Fighting Minotaurs.
Good for you.
There's a bullet trying to crush my brain.
This is probably not resonating with her.
And there's like two people. There's two people who know what I'm talking about.
I hope they're on the live stream.
If you know what I'm talking about, add a comment in there. If not, well, come on. Out of 631 people, there's got to be a couple people that played Baldur's Gate 3 or D&D.
Yeah, so what Glenn Kirshner was saying is you have to look at not just what he was saying, but how this has played out in the past. So, like, when he was challenging FEMA workers and saying that they're not doing a job, and then someone shows up with loaded guns and goes after FEMA workers, or and then he cited a whole bunch of examples like the January 6th, and got the crowd all riled up and they charged the Capitol. So as you look at in the past, he knows his charged words will result in action. So when he says something like this about Liz Cheney, you cannot argue that, it's just words, it is First Amendment. It's like, no, it's more than that. It is an actual threat because there is documented evidence of what this threats, when he does these threats, what happens afterwards. So let's take a quick little for Carter on that. Will he be charged? Oh my. That's a problem. God, that strength card just demands to be shown. Okay, so will he be charged? Once again, the foundation is the magician. This is, to me, this is, Trump just manifesting the old Trump magic, I was just exercising my First Amendment speech rights, just putting the message out to get my base all excited. But underneath it, the main clarifier is the Glenn Carlson message, which is, in the past, this messaging has created havoc and destruction. And this is what law is based on. It's not what you think it is. It's what law is actually based on. So right now, the Attorney General, the prosecutor, the Attorney General, they're looking at this seriously to bring charges. Because, to borrow Glenn Kirshner's Justice Matters, they need to be strong here. It's enough. You can't dismiss this anymore. There's enough evidence. And you can get your butt sued by Liz Cheney if you don't do something about this. She definitely has the resources to come after him.
Yeah.
So they have to be strong and show a sign of strength that we are not going to tolerate what's coming out of your mouth. And it's a new messaging. It's messaging that we haven't had before. It's time for a new message that this type of messaging from you, these type of dog whistle calls to action will not be tolerated. So is Trump going to be charged? You know what? I think so. I think he actually will be this time, finally.
It's going to be one of those things that, get in line.
Yeah.
Trump's going to have so much. He will have legal trouble for the rest of his life. There's no way he's not having legal trouble. Even if he's deemed mentally incompetent to stand trial, there will still be civil lawsuits going after his estate, his company, stuff like that. The Trump name is going to be mud. It's already mud. The Trump fortune is going to be ruined, and he will be revealed for who he is, and that going forward. Does that mean he's going to go to prison for what he said about Liz Cheney? Probably not. But again, that's because
you never know. The Wheel of Fortune's at work there. But yeah, like David said, he's going to be in court for the rest of his days.
Right. And then his estate will be in court after that.
Philip, you are so right. I told you I was like Gary David. I'm pretty sure I wouldn't be able to live with you. Lord help you.
There was somebody I went to grad school with her name was Diana. She was I think she summed it up best. Like, David's great in short bursts,
small amounts.
Yeah, 5-10 minutes. After that, it was just
because.
Now, fortunately for me, Michelle and I are cut from the same cloth.
Yeah.
I can make her laugh with anything because we have the same sense of humor, and she's got the sense of humor of a 10-year-old boy. So all I have to do is play any video of somebody falling or farting, and she will be in hysterics.
It's so funny because Shelley has this. There's a progression.
Yes.
David.
It's David. David in all caps, and then David with 3 exclamation marks. David, you're getting near the line. David, exclamation mark, or all caps. David, you're crossing the line. David, 3 exclamation points. Dude, you're so far over the line. And then it's usually followed by a cackle.
Big cackle. Yeah, it's like, David. It's absolutely joyous to behold. You and Shelley have such a wonderful relationship. Yeah. And I bless every day the two of you are together because she has brought so much joy to you.
Yeah. We are peas in a pod. Twin flames, as it were. And Rose Blue, thank you very much. That's not. Dick Cheney's got a reputation of shooting people. That's not the person whose daughter you want to go after.
Yeah, no kidding, right? I mean, Liz Cheney's no wilting flower there. She can handle herself, but man, oh man,
Well, I'm sure she can handle firearms quite well too.
Yeah, as a dad of daughters, Yeah, man, don't you dare. Don't go there. You just open up a big can of whoop ass when you start threatening someone's kid.
Yeah, and again, Liz Cheney's not, unlike most of the elected Republican officials, she has a spine. Now, folks who are regular viewers of Tarot by the Bay know that I have an admiration for Liz Cheney, but I generally have an admiration for very strong women, very strong, intelligent women. I appreciate that. I work in an industry where we have a lot of women like that. But I'm also very aware of Susan Lynn's thoughts on Liz Cheney, and I agree with Susan Lynn. Liz Cheney will be a formidable opponent, but right now Liz Cheney is on our side of the political spectrum. Looks like.
So I was asking where our kitties were. I got one of our kitties is sleeping on the chair. The other ones are out and about. But we got the not David kitty. So.
Yeah. So right now it's good to have Liz Cheney on our side. She's going to reconstitute a new conservative movement. They will most likely work with the Democrats for a while as they stamp out the MAGA elements out of the Republican Party. And then, expect that they're going to start putting on the brakes on progressive movements. Whoa.
Yeah, I think with this election, Liz Cheney really kind of has her finger on it, which is, what this election is not about policy. This is about what form of government do you want. We can fight over policy in 2028. Right now, we just simply need to agree that a representative democracy is the type of government that we would like to move forward with.
And if you want to really do something useful, send light to Liz Cheney with the intention that she finds empathy.
Yes.
That she can enhance her empathy, because having Liz Cheney as an empathetic person would be an amazing ally.
Yes.
Because that woman can move mountains. And when you want to move forward in a society to help its people out, you need someone like her who's just a juggernaut. You can literally just pile stuff on her and she's going to power forward with it.
Yeah.
She's going to make sure things get done. Kamala Harris, I would imagine she and Liz Cheney have a lot more in common than people would realize.
Yeah. It's just, the thing with Liz Cheney too is, she respects the Constitution.
Yeah.
Same with Adam Kinzinger. You might not agree with her policies, but that if she were president, that the democracy would be there at the end of 4 years, which is kind of crazy that we're even talking about that.
Right.
But that's the message Liz Cheney is also bringing forth, and a lot of the Republicans are, Trump's not fit for office. This our representative democracy is at risk with Trump. And so they have kind of seen the light, saying, yeah, you know what, we'll take a pass on policy in 2024. We could fight like we normally did in 2028, but this is a completely different election.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if Kamala Harris puts Liz Cheney in the cabinet. So it's like Liz Cheney for AG. I don't know if I'd put her in AG, but I'd love to put her as like the ambassador to the UN or NATO or something like that. To the UN would be great, because imagine turning Liz Cheney loose on Russia and China and North Korea.
Oh my goodness.
Actually, North Korea would be in the UN, but on Russia and China, that would be glorious. How did we learn tarot? I, myself, speaking for me, who is I, I started, I've visited intuitives. I've had tarot readings from maybe 10, 20 years. Every now and then. But I just got my start with Lena Rodriguez through her Tarot Down Under channel. And she started offering lessons. And in the early days of the pandemic, February 2020, I took lessons with with Lena Rodriguez. Dr. Rodriguez.
Yes.
I've also taken lessons from Johnny from Tarot's Apprentice, but Lena's the one that got me started.
Yeah, and I learned from David. Well, and there's a couple things. There was some videos that I watched online on YouTube. One is Ramon, was it the Moon Scare? I think is his channel. I was watching his videos, and then there was another lady that was from the UK who had some videos. We're just learning what the cards meant, and the kind of the trick is getting away from, it's good to know what the literal meaning of the card is, but then it's the practice in throwing the cards and then the interpretation that it takes it to that next level where you move away from the rigid meaning of the cards to where you think this, sort of doing your interpretation of what it means.
Yeah.
That's kind of the trick.
And I think Gary and I read it in a similar way. Go figure. Identical.
Yeah.
The answer is yes, identical twins.
Yes.
That the cards are like stepping stones when we're telling a story, and they're just helping us get from one chapter to the next, to the next, to the next, to the next, and then you just sort of craft together the story that feels right. And is that bias? It could be, but it's also intuition.
Hey, Acadian proud.
It just depends on your point of view, if you agree with us or not. If you agree with us, it's intuition. If you disagree with us, it's clearly bias.
Yeah, there was comments about Tucker Carlson and the demon. Have you heard about that?
No.
Yeah, he was doing some interview.
Did he write a short story or a poem?
Did
he buy a Dodge?
He said that he had gone to sleep with his wife, and I guess they had a dog or something like that. And he woke up and he had these scratches on him, and he said he was attacked by a demon. And it's just like, okay, I mean, sure, why not? It could happen. I don't disbelieve that, but it's just like,
the demon wanted his autograph.
It's like the demon was relating to you, Tucker. I mean,
Dad, wake up.
Yeah, exactly.
I need water.
Yeah, I want a glass of water, right? It's like, Tucker, take the damn hint. Look what you've hitched yourself to. No wonder demons are talking to you.
Trump was probably a snake oil salesman in the 1800s.
Oh, God.
And Tucker Carlson would have been the fire and brimstone preacher. Yeah, it is bogus. Totally bogus, Carol. All right. We're done with the readings. This is kind of the chit-chat session. We'll usually do like 10 or 15 minutes of chit-chatting. If you have questions for us that are not tarot-related, but something like this,
yes.
This is perfect.
So I have a story about this. No, we had a schnauzer. We had a miniature schnauzer when we were growing up.
Don't say the name because that's one of those password questions.
Yes, indeed. So did we grow up with kitties? No, but there was a cat before we got our schnauzer. So I guess we were about 7. There's a cat that followed my sister home.
Followed us and come on, cat, follow us. And the cat's like, no.
And grabbed it by the throat.
Give me kitty bear. It's so friendly.
And so for the longest time, we had this cat for not a long period, maybe a week or 2. And then the cat disappeared as quickly as it showed
just
up.
gone. I don't know where.
And Dave and I had named the cat Killer. I don't know. We were 7. That seemed like a great name for a cat.
For a pregnant female cat that we didn't know that she was a pregnant female.
Yes, exactly. Because I remember my sister saying, well, how do you know it's not a girl cat? It's not a girl cat. It's a boy cat, obviously. We had no reason to believe anything else. Like, we were manifesting the gender of this cat, damn it. And it's a boy cat. Well, it turned out that Killer was a girl cat, and she was very, very pregnant, and my dad was very, very allergic to it. So my folks... I didn't know this until like literally a couple years ago.
Yeah.
That my folks, basically had to take the cat to a pound or a rescue because my dad was so allergic to it. They did try to keep the cat around, but they ended up
euthanizing it. Say the word.
Not euthanize.
They didn't have shelters back then. They had what's her melon from South Dakota take it out to the gravel pit, put it next to the dog and the goat.
I'm sure the cat went to the SPCA and they took care of it. But my wife is a cat person, and so when we got together, we had an agreement that we would get a cat and a dog, and they would have to learn to coexist. And so we got a Great Pyrenees, who was just the most wonderful dog ever. And at one point, we had 6 cats in a Great Pyrenees. And it was a Great Pyrenees that just wished for once we would show up with a dog instead of yet another cat.
His dog would come over to our house and visit his cousins and sometimes spend a weekend with us. He was such a good-natured dog. My dogs loved him.
Yeah, David had a Great Pyrenees and
a golden retriever. The golden loved him. And then when I got the Great Pyrenees, she just like, oh, this is my new best friend. Go away, golden retriever.
Yeah, they would play literally for hours
in the backyard.
Yeah.
And he was like, he's the only dog that would play with my Great Pyrenees. So all the other dogs that were scared of her because she liked it that way.
So we didn't grow up with cats, but we have matured into cats.
Yeah, my wife is a cat person, so we have 2 cats right now. If it were up to me, we'd have dogs, not cats, but we have cats.
So Amy Sanders, from my favorite brothers, I have 4 already, but like you guys, oh no! Oh, I'm so sorry, Amy. Oh my God.
Sorry. We're awesome as brothers. Ask our sisters.
No, the 4 of us, we have 2 older sisters, really older. The 4 of us get along really well.
The 3 of us get along. Then there's the oldest.
Oh my God. No, all 4 of us get along really well. We always have.
Well, as adults, as kids, never mind.
As kids, you're just kids.
But thank you very much for the donation.
Yes, I really appreciate it. I'm so sorry that you're having to go through that. I mean, Trump has given us some gifts for sure. Unfortunately, one of those gifts is he has caused so much devastation to families and friendships with his divisiveness and his darkness. And I'm so sorry you're dealing with
this. Is going to be a hard Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
This is going to be a hard Thanksgiving. There might have to be that rule. We are not going to talk about politics at this Thanksgiving, but there's going to be some people have been lied to and gaslit for 8 years, and they were told unequivocally that Trump was going to win this election. And they're going to think that it got stolen from them again, feel disempowered, and we always take it out on the ones we love.
Yes, indeed.
So from Eleanor Wittering, David, you know of minerals in both your smarts. You must have some background education-wise. Both of you constantly amaze.
Thank you.
We constantly amaze ourselves.
Indeed.
Too.
Dave really has a fascination with rocks.
Yeah, with Chris. We both did. I remember we were kids. I remember going on a vacation, and our father actually bought Gary a small piece of amethyst.
Yeah.
Which was really cool. I didn't get some. It was nothing I liked at the store at the time, but I thought Gary chose well with that one. The crystal collecting for me just pretty much happened during COVID. That was kind of my COVID retail therapy type thing. On my Facebook, on my community page on YouTube, there's a Facebook group called Stellar Curations I buy from. Steve sells basically at wholesale prices to people. And if you're not sure what that is, if you go into a store and you see like an amethyst cathedral that's like $100, Steve sells that same thing for $50. Mm-hmm. So it's basically half off of what you would pay retail. Good quality stuff too. Love it. I have way too much of his stuff, and actually, I've given quite a bit to Gary.
Yeah, I've got a few.
It helped create room in my cabinet.
So you buy more.
Actually, I've been pretty good about not buying more. Vote blue, no matter who. I do the same with local elections. Keep out right-wing people from the state legislatures, the anti-abortion laws, and far-right judges to school boards, book bans. Thank you very much. Katie and Proud.
Thank you so much. Katie and Proud, I don't know if, I'm assuming you're a woman. You could be a guy, and I apologize if I got the gender incorrect. You're not giving me your pronouns. But Katie and Proud, I'll just use a non-pronoun version, is always in the comment section and always has very uplifting and wise messaging for the comment section. So thank you, Katie and Proud. I really appreciate you. And I know you're also on our Taco Tuesdays with Marina. I see you in the chats there, so we really do appreciate you.
What? No, I'm not going to look at that. This isn't about any more political questions. Here we go. What do you do for a living, and how far apart do you live? So I never tell people where I work because there's doxing going on. And my company does have a social media policy and things along those lines. And it's just easier if I don't. I work, but I do work in biotech. I live in the Bay Area. I've worked in biotech since the late 80s, early 90s.
Yeah.
I've got a bachelor's degree and a master's degree in sciences.
Yeah. So, and for me, God, I've been all over the place.
He's been everywhere, man.
I worked in aviation for an airline that used Rhapsody in Blue as their theme music in the 80s and 90s. I've worked for Stanford Hospital and Clinics. I also worked in biotech at Genentech. And then I went over to the public side. So I've worked on the public side since 2012. So right now I work in finance and I work for a public agency. And we live about 45 to 50 minutes apart from.
Oh yeah, forget it. Yeah, it's with no traffic. It's about 45, 50 minutes.
Yes, we do have a bridge in between us because that was a rule.
Now, Gary's not going to get this, but I'm going to give you your Samuel Jackson invitation. Look at the big brain on Brad. And I may be wrong, Spiritual Sean, but that looks like a Pulp Fiction reference.
Yes, Carol Alana, that you are correct. But that's where my wife and we met. We both worked at that company, and we both reported to the same vice president.
A little sexual harassment at work goes a long way to scoring a wife.
No, that scored her husband.
Actually, I met my first wife at work too.
So there you go.
What kind of TV shows do you guys like? It's been a while since I've actually watched TV shows per se, but British comedy,
yes,
was very big. Our dad introduced us to a lot of good stuff.
Yeah,
he introduced us to Monty Python and the Goodies,
Ernie Kovacs,
Benny Hill,
the two Ronnies.
But it's funny because he stopped watching some after a while, but we kept going.
Yeah,
Python. I remember as a kid, it took a long time to get over the accents to understand what they were saying. But also, John Cleese and Graham Chapman, their sketches relied on fast talking.
Yeah.
So it's really hard to keep up with them as your brain's developing. But love Python, which is why Gary and I could do the parrot sketch.
Exactly. What else?
Science fiction was always fun.
Yep. Doctor Who and
Star Trek.
Yes.
Space 1999 for a little bit there.
Yep.
Buck Rogers in the 25th century. Gary,
fun fact: our dad met Martin Landau.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So our dad
was Martin Landau stepping on Dad's fingers?
No, he was not.
Help. I guess our dad isn't as famous as we thought.
No, he's not Cary Grant, unfortunately. Our dad, our uncle, and our godfather were extras in the movie called Tucker.
Yes.
And Martin Landau was in that. And my dad and Martin Landau really hit it off. They were chatting about a whole bunch of things.
But worried about Martin Landau's politics.
What other TV shows? Game of Thrones.
I haven't watched it, but that would be right in my wheelhouse.
Oh, Game of Thrones was awesome.
Did you watch the Benedict Cumberbatch Sherlock?
Yes,
fantastic.
That was wonderful as well. I don't watch a lot of TV now. Laura, my wife and I, we watch a lot of YouTube videos. We have a favorite. It's called Fresh Baked, and it's about Disneyland. And this guy kind of gives you backgrounds and stuff about tours of Disneyland and strategies for Disneyland. My wife went to Disneyland like 5 times last year, so we watch a lot of that, but not a lot of TV. Hey, Marina, what do you got for us? Faulty Towers, of course.
Blackadder was amazing.
Yes,
I had the tapes.
Yes. Oh, so Marina, I've got a story about keeping up appearances.
Gary is a big keeping up appearances.
Oh, huge, and my kids are too. And so, just absolutely love the show. Oslo is my hero. Okay, he's the only character that is truly comfortable in his own skin.
Yes.
So, I mentioned earlier that my sister-in-law lives in London, and so my wife still works at United and Red Dwarf, awesome. And so we fly over to England fairly frequently to visit, and so we've done a lot of downtown London. So we've been taking excursions to like Scotland and to Stonehenge and whatnot. So what I did was I looked up the locations for keeping up appearances. So I found the location for Hyacinth's house and Elizabeth's house. for Onslow's house and for Violet's house. And so we took a train up to the city. I can't remember the name. It's where Richard Hammond's from, on Top Gear. And so we took a train up there and we hired a car and we went to the different houses and we found all 3 of the houses. And after we started at Hyacinth's house and we hopped out of the car and we were taking pictures and having a good old time. And the driver looks at us and goes, "Okay, what's the story?" And I said, "Oh, have you ever watched Keeping Up Appearances?" He's like, "Yeah." I said, "That's Hyacinth's house." And all of a sudden, he was now on board with this trip. Right? He's like, "Okay, where are we going next?" "We're going to Onslow's house." So we went to Onslow and Daisley's house, and we went down into that little cul-de-sac where the little park is, and we saw the park. And then we went to Violet's house. And Violet's house is definitely bigger, but I don't know if there really is room for a pony in the back of it. But yes.
Is Rachel from Birmingham?
Birmingham, yes. Yes, and Hyacinth's house is there. And I still have like the addresses for that stuff if anyone ever wants to see that stuff.
Now, Police Squad.
Oh my God.
Police Squad. My wife, now, Michelle and I get along with everything, but we disagree on Police Squad. Anything Abrams is hilarious.
Yes, magnificent humor.
Incredible. And the fact that we had Police Squad give it to us. And yes, Gary and I will do the Police Squad. Please, Frank. And the cat thing is still moving. And it's corny jokes and there's repeating jokes on there, but that just makes it all the better. And Leslie Nielsen was perfectly cast as Frank Drebin.
Oh my God. It's so funny. I was just watching a clip from that on YouTube yesterday where he's Leslie Nielsen's talking to this guy. He's like, "Do you think I'd take the champ? I could take it I could take him blindfolded." "Well, what if the blindfold's off of him?" "I can still take him." Good man. And then Leslie Nielsen delivers the "good man, I believe you," and then he loses it. He couldn't keep the straight face at the end of that.
Okay, it's the oldest profession in the book. Sex, Frank? Well, maybe later.
Yes.
And it's one of those things that it's not only because there's lots of sight gags going on. Top Secret's another movie.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the one that flew under the radar there with Val Kilmer.
Yeah.
Absolutely worth seeing. But it's not only the visual gags, but it's you have to stay on top of the dialogue and get ready for not even the double entendre, but the double meaning, how it makes the joke funny.
Yes, exactly. Surely you can't be serious.
And I am serious, and don't call me Shirley.
Yes.
It's like my brother-in-law, my wife's husband, absolutely loves stuff like that too. And if you're also a fan, Mystery Science Theater 3000.
Oh my God.
Because that's like it's
like watching a movie with your best college
trivia.
friend.
It's Trivial Pursuit for pop culture in movies and stuff. You know, they'll just there was one of my favorites called Warrior of the Lost World, and they're driving in this futuristic, desolate society. The apocalypse happened. They're driving through a junkyard, and Joel and the bots in the background, they start singing da 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 da. Now, if you don't know the theme song to Sanford and Son and that they bought junk, the joke's lost on you. Yeah. But if you do, you know exactly what they're talking about. And he's got this little bike that says "Bad Mothers," and somebody quips in a little snarky comment. What, like
Joan Crawford?
Like Joan Crawford? If you don't know Mommy Dearest, it's lost on you. If you do, it's hilarious.
Oh, Acadian Proud's got a good one too. So someone mentioned Red Dwarf, Last of the Summer Wine, another great British show, and that was the guy that did Wallace's voice from Wallace and Gromit. Was in The Last of the Summer Wine.
Peter Sallius.
Yes, Peter Sallius. Thank you.
And then we got the Victor. Is this is that what was the one with the young priest and the curmudgeon-y old one?
Oh, that was
I think somebody put it up in the comments earlier.
Bless Me Father.
Bless Me Father. Yes, that was in the comments earlier. Oh, and all the MST guys are.
Yes, they are. Yes, they are.
I would say that my father was a huge Peter Sellers fan.
Yes.
So Pink Panthers.
Yeah, yeah.
We go to the movie theaters to see the Pink Panther.
Yeah.
movies.
We were well versed in Pink Panther lore.
And I remember once my son was 9, 10 years old. He was in a foul mood at the computer. He had gotten into an argument with my wife, my first wife, and he was just in a foul mood. And it's just like, John, I want to show you something. And I pulled up the scene of, I don't know if it's the Return or the Revenge of the Pink Panther, but it's when Inspector Clouseau is trying to get into the German castle.
Oh God,
that 2-minute clip of him trying to get in the castle and falling into the moat repeatedly had my son from pissed off to laughing so hard he was crying in 2 minutes. The other one that seemed to work for him was Marx Brothers, A Night at the Opera, when the man was being really mean to Harpo, and Harpo knocks him out with a mallet. And then they get the smelling salts, and it's like, you feel really bad, don't you? He wakes up, and then he just bombs him again. For my son, that was comedy gold. Nothing could be better.
Take care, Maria. Thank you so much for joining us. And yes, Are You Being Served? Frank Thornton, I think, is the actor you're referring to. Apparently, Frank Thornton was in Last of the Summer Wine as well.
Okay.
Yeah, Captain Peacock.
Oh, we got another super thing.
Oh, my God. Thank you
Super
for
sticker. Super sticker. Gary's going to steal all the money and buy all the beer and the bread.
That's right. I'm going to be well stocked in beer and bread. You don't need anything more than that.
The Minky. That was now the cult classic one in the house was Mr. Hulo's Holiday, which Mr. Bean, Rowan Atkinson in an interview said, Mr. Bean is basically a ripoff of Mr. Hulo from Mr. Hulo's Holiday. So if you're a fan of Mr. Bean, you might want to check that one out as well. My dad and his friends, they were like the only people in the United States who had ever heard of Mr. Hulo.
Yeah, exactly.
And they absolutely thought it was brilliant.
Yes. Mel Brooks was also...
Oh, Mel Brooks. He's a god.
I've gone to the Turner Classic Movie Film Festival, and he is often a guest speaker at that. And he was, they had Spaceballs as their send-off movie. And it's one of my son's favorite movies, and he got to see Mel Brooks speak about the movie Spaceballs. But yeah, Young Frankenstein and Blazing Saddles. We can quote the whole damn movie.
Let's all send light to Terry Garr. We lost her this weekend.
Oh God, Terry Garr. What an amazing woman she was.
Sorry not to be a downer on that one, but it's like, well, we're in there.
Do I use beer in my bread? Only in myself. No, I do not. I have made beer bread before. I've not tried it with my sourdough yet. Probably not a bad idea. I do sometimes make a rye sourdough bread, which is absolutely amazing, and my wife loves rye bread, so that's always kind of fun. But yeah, I could try certainly a beer bread. That'd be awesome.
Just find a recipe that you like.
Crocodile Dundee. There's another good one.
Oh God, yeah.
That was really big in the 80s, wasn't it?
It was. Have you considered exploring Second Life? It's like a video game. Never heard of it. Baldur's Gate 3 has been enticing me. What's great about it is that decisions you make early on in the game change everything that happens later on. So there's a lot of replayability on it. My son plays it. I have a couple of friends that I visit in the Niagara Falls area who play it. It's just the replayability of the game is amazing. If you really want a great one, Heroes of Might and Magic 3.
Oh my God.
That game is 25 years old, and
that's the one game I do play is Heroes.
That gets him in trouble with his wife.
Yeah. Dave keeps trying to get me to play Baldur's Gate. It's like, no, I get enough trouble for my wife playing Heroes 3. Baldur's Gate is that's just a fast track to a divorce, you know? The Princess Bride, inconceivable when you mention it. Oh my gosh, what a classic. I've only met one person on this planet that did not like that movie. It's like, that's impossible. How can you not like it? It is just like the most awesome movie ever made.
And they're talking about remaking it. It's like, no, just leave this one. It's perfect.
No.
Come up with something that's an homage.
Don't.
The Princess Bride. Don't replace it.
Yeah, no, that is an absolutely trick. My sister sprung that on me. she invited me over for dinner. Said, "Oh, watch a movie." And I'm thinking, "Yeah, great." This is like the late '80s. This is the whole Arnold Schwarzenegger and Sylvester Stallone. It's like, yeah, let's go watch something like that. She pulls out The Princess Bride. It's just like, really?
You got to be kidding me.
But it's one of those things where you only have to watch like 5 or 10 minutes of it, and you are completely hooked. There's no way you're going to turn it off.
It's great. It is. In fact, the only person who had lousy lines was Robin Wright.
Yeah.
She was the straight man, and the whole thing. All the guys had all the fun.
Do we watch Mel Brooks movies?
All of them.
Hell yes. Holy Grail.
Monty
Yes.
Python, the Holy Grail.
Oh my God, that was like mandatory viewing for college. Yeah, Holy Grail and Pink Floyd, Dark Side of the Moon. Yeah, you couldn't graduate unless you had were well versed in both of those.
And what's neat is that seeing that younger people learning about Monty Python and the Holy Grail, especially the Black Knight, never say die attitude. Okay, we're at an hour and a half. We still have another 5 videos to cut today.
Oh my goodness! I'm gonna make sure. I see there's a Danish up there. Let's make sure we Animal House. Oh my gosh! Make sure we.
Yeah, we did. We did the dance for Animal
Oh yeah,
House.
well, it's $20. We could do another dance. Animal House. That another great movie.
Yeah, especially when we first saw it, because we were like 13 years old.
Oh my God! Well, that was what we liked about Benny Hill, because you knew if you watched it long enough,
yeah, something good was going to happen.
Yeah, Benny Hill, right on.
There's only one Monty Python that had something good.
Yeah, the boring life of a stockbroker.
Classic sketch. Gary showed that to his girlfriend at the time, who ended up being his first wife. How old was Eric when he watched that? 10? I remember him telling me he's watching that. They're watching that episode, and he looked over. He was watching his future brother-in-law to watch his reaction. Exactly. It was a naked woman behind a counter. You can only see her from the top up, but still, that's not something you see on American television ever. No pasties, nothing.
God bless that woman. He did a good. He was on a roll that day. I mean, it's funny because she's probably like our mom's age now, but yeah, she wasn't when they shot that clip. Yeah, that was one more thing before you sign off. My dad also liked the Avengers.
Yes. Oh God.
And we were talking about Game of Thrones. Diana Rigg was in the Game of Thrones.
Diana Rigg, man.
It's so funny because my dad and I were being lecherous about Diana Rigg one day, and my mom goes, "She's my age." Yeah, Mom, but you were never parading around the house in a leather catsuit like that.
Hello.
Oh my God.
Then you get into like Elizabeth Montgomery, or if you want to,
the Barbara Eden. Oh my gosh.
Or
Don Wells.
Don Wells, thank you. Caddyshack and the Blues Brothers.
Oh, Brothers. Blues Brothers has aged better than I think any movie on the planet.
And I think Shell and I finally. Did you want to watch it, or was it just me and Michelle that watched?
You and Shelley.
Okay. We watched that. Blues Brothers has a special place in my heart because we were invited over to a friend's house and the Ruizes, and they were a very musical family.
Yep.
And watching that movie with them, they knew who the cast of characters were, but it was just an amazing introduction into movie. My dad listened to easy listening stuff, so to see all this, and I just remember at the time with inflation and everything, watching all those cars get wrecked. And just wondering how much money that must have cost with all the cars that are wrecked in the car chase scenes.
Well, the thing with Blues Brothers is outside of Ray Charles, most of those guys weren't working. Aretha Franklin and John Lee Hooker, they weren't working. And this really rejuvenized Aretha Franklin's career for sure. But yeah, that movie has aged so well. If you haven't seen it in a while, watch it. The talent they had, not only in the Blues Brothers band, but the guest musical appearances is just over the top good.
Yeah, fantastic movie. And watching it again in my late 50s, after not really having seen it since my teens or early 20s, it held up fantastically. Loved that movie.
Yep. Oh, hi, Seeker of the Light and Peace.
All right, and now that you've said hello, we're going to say, and Smokey and the Bandit. Michelle is like the one. My wife Michelle is like the one person who can outquote Gary and me.
Yeah, I'm pretty good. I think Shelly's a little bit better.
She's a little bit better. I watched it with her. It's like that Bugs Bunny cartoons.
Yes.
It's the only person who knows it better than I do.
Very good at that.
Okay.
All right, so yeah, I think we've subjected them to enough of our nonsense.
Yes, at least something for the next slide. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. We really do appreciate your joining us here today.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for all you do to support our channel, watching our videos, leaving comments, giving us thumbs ups, and subscribing. We're on our way to 14,000 subscribers. You know, we're not quite Midas Touch yet. We're not a little shy of the 3 million, but we're charging towards 14. So if you like this stuff, please feel free to subscribe. And we try and put out a video every single day for you.
Okay. And remember, it's Saturday. If you haven't voted, make sure you get out and vote. Encourage people to get out and vote. Kamala Harris is going to win. The Democrats are going to take Congress, but pile on. Every vote is a mandate. It's just pushing it further and further, the mandate, and it undermines any type of legal battles that Trump and his minions will try and foist on the legal system, trying to steal this election. Don't let them. Send that message. Pick the right side of history. Be on the right side of history. We're going to get through this, and we're going to come out great.
Yes, because if we vote big enough, SCOTUS is going to shy away from this, and the secret card.
Oh, geez.
Vote big, and let's destroy MAGA once and for all.
And it's 106 miles from Chicago. We'll take again.
Yes.
I've had cigarettes. It's dark, and we're wearing sunglasses.
Hit it.
Take care, everyone.
Fix the cigarette lighter. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.